Welcome to Sriram IAS Academy in this Unacademy platform. My name is Laila Ignatius. I am handling PSAR optional in Sriram IAS Academy and using this Unacademy platform. Okay. And before going to start this demo, that the way how Sriram IAS Academy is providing some kind of offer for the students of Unacademy to get some kind of benefit up to 20% by the way of using this code Srirams in your okay. And other important thing is that the way how the Sriram IAS Academy is also achieved things with the help of the 2022 mains examination. These are our toppers and various other people are also going to count in future, and you will also see those things in newspapers and all. Okay. And by the way of using this link, the way we are planning to start some foundation course in June month, as well as optional paper like sociology, public admin, history, PSI I am taking, and economics options are going to start. So you can able to use this link. On the basis of that, you can able to get the things done. Okay, good. So when I'm going to look into this is a topic I thought of taking here. So when you want to look into the concept of just a second, the way how we are going to start this one. One second. So this is the way we are planning, and this is a topic I'm going to handle, the power. So when you are going to start the topic, a concept like power, power is an idea will come in your paper 1 section A. The power, hegemony, authority, legitimacy. These are the ideas a student need to learn it. So when you are going to look into the concept of power, legitimacy, authority and hegemony, the most important thing, the first and foremost important idea, the way how a student can able to understand about the concept of power. Okay. So when you are going to look into politics, because political science are closely connected with the politics, you cannot able to separate politics from political science. And the way how the power as a concept is directly involved into the nature of politics, like the way how money as a kind of idea is involving into the nature of economics. So power connected with the politics, money connected with the economics. In this way, when you are going to look into the concept of the political science and that power as a concept, there are a lot of political thinkers who start from their various methodology and ideas. On the basis of that, they also gave the important and significant views regarding power from the time and from the different perspectives. So I can able to go to the Machiavelli at the time of 15th century and Hobbes at the time of 16th century, and the way how the modern thinkers like Max Weber and all who also want to define the concept of what is a real meaning for the idea of power. So as per the recent conflict, like the way how Max Weber who want to make some kind of definition for the idea of power, I can able to. So as per the point of view of Weber, when you are going to define the idea of power, politics is the struggle for power or the influencing of those in power. So politics is a kind of struggle in order to achieve the idea of power, or the people those who are in politics, people those who are in power and politics tries to influence them, and on the basis of that there will be always a struggle between states as well as the organized group in the name of pressure group, voluntary group, or the people who want to influence the politics or the people in power will come under. So the state as a government and organized group as an influencer. So there will be a struggle, and this struggle will come into the nature of the idea of power as per the knowledge of Max Weber. But when I'm going to look into the further understanding about the ideas of politics and power, so we have to go to the Ferdinand Russell, the way how he defined the concept of power as the production of the intended effort. The production of an intended effects, you are going to make it, an intended effects. On the basis of that, you are producing to some kind of end result. Through this manner, you can able to have some influential matter. And when I'm going to look into the wise man, the way how he defined power as the ability to get one's wish carried out despite opposition. And there will be always opposition when the decision making and decision implementation is going to happen. Even though so many people are going to influence or oppose or against, but still you are having the authority to enforce those kind of action will come under the category of power as per the knowledge of wise men. So in this manner, when I'm going to look into the concept of power, the way how the definition is also giving some kind of nature to the power. On the basis of that, the power can also be exercised by an individual man as well as a group of men. On the basis of that, the various initiatives regarding influence other will define the nature of power. So in this way, when I'm going to look into the idea of power, power and authorities are always interrelated with each other. And the way how the legitimacy comes with an alignment of authority, we can able to define the concept of power. So this is a kind of, when I'm going to use a forceful action or compulsory way or sanctioned method in order to get the things done will come under the category of when the person who is having the concept of legitimacy. So this is an idea when I'm going to look into the concept of power. So, what is the meaning of power? Concept of we have to understand because sometimes UPSC directly asks a question. Already asked this question last to last year. The meaning and nature of power. 10-mark area. So, when I am going to look into the concept of power, in politics, power is a core area, central area. So, based on that, the main matter is that the power is a concept. The way how it is involved into the nature of law, on the basis of that it can able to qualify certain matter or it can able to utilize the authority. On the basis of that you can able to force the people to bring into the nature of obedience or voluntary nature to do the things, to force the people to do the things is a kind of idea will come under the nature of power. And everyone knows power is a kind of force utilized by the state in the name of rule of law, in the name of constitutionalism or enforcing constitution. So based on that, the way how the state can able to utilize the concept of force upon the people with a legalized and legitimate manner, on the basis of that in every political theory or every political perspective, power will come under the central theme of everything. So based on that, the way how the force is interconnected with the state and state is popular for coercion and all, on the basis of that you can able to think about the ideas of power, you can able to understand the meaning of power. But the way how the realist and idealist, how they are existing in the field of political science, based on the realist point of view, I'm talking about the ideas of power so far, the meaning of power so far. But there is also another way, the way how a jurist, the way they are considering a state as a legal association. On the basis of that, the jurist can able to argue that the way how the imperative and superior forces associated with the idea of state is not considered at an arbitrary, but it is a qualified force. A jury is saying that people are thinking that the state is utilizing the superior power or the imperative power. On the basis of that, they are coercing people, but don't consider it is a superior power. Don't consider it as an authoritarian way. It is a qualified force. On the basis of that, if you want to say with the proper legal mention, with the proper legal method, the state want to achieve what the people really want, what the people really need to, those kind of ideas in the name of law. So based on that, when I want to look into the concept of power, power is always interconnected with the state. Power is always interconnected with the state. Is a kind of idea. So based on that, when you are looking into the concept of power, the way how the power as an idea is exercised. For that, for exercising power, you need to have a definite forces. The most important thing, you need to have a very definite forces, because without there is a proper methods, you cannot be able to power, and there may be a possibility without structure and procedure, the power may be misused by people also. We can have lot of example in the modern world. So the definite procedure, and on the basis of that we are making rules and regulations. So in this manner, with the limitation of power, I can able to use the law. For example, constitution is existing. With the help of constitution, a written constitution or unwritten constitution, you can able to talk about the availability nature of constitutionalism. Where the constitutionalism is existing, there you can able to feel the proper methods of government and proper functions of government to achieve the objective of their constitution, that is welfare of all. But the constitutionalism is a kind of idea, is always trying to enforce a concept of rule of law, the procedure established by law. Then only you can able to see a proper order inside the society. If there is no rule of law, there is no proper procedure, with the help of the written document like constitution, you won't find the existence of constitutionalism. On the basis of this idea, you can always find that the regular methods, a prescribed ideology, the procedure established by law, we can able to bring a uniform method throughout the world for the enforcement of the idea of power. So in this manner, when you are going to look into the concept of power through the prescribed method, you can able to bring a common generalization of the concept of power. That means a sum total of those external influences and pressure which can make an individual or body of individual to move in a required direction. So what kind of generalization through this idea I am going to bring about power? Power means a sum total of those external influence or pressure which is going to make an individual or a body of individual to move in a particular direction, and the direction is fixed by the power or the state or something like that. So this is a way you can able to understand the real meaning of power in your point of view. Then when I'm going to look into this idea, and there is always another way, that implication of power, in what way we are going to implicate. So when I'm going to look into this concept, how the way the power is going to implicate within a society. So the most important thing is that the way how the power as a concept is concentrated in a particular place. So when you are going to look into the area, you can't able to control and assign the concept of power in terms of political scenario or economic perspective. And power is an idea is connected with the society also, because the most important thing is that state is going to use power against whom? The citizens, the people. So once the people come into force, the social aspect will also align with the area of power. So social phenomena is also another guiding principle in order to utilize the implication of power inside the society. So when you are going to look into this idea, so I can able to say power is interconnected with the politics alone, economic framework and perspective alone, the social phenomena will also come into force here. So in this way, when I'm going to see the comparison methods, by the way, I'm going to distinguish power with various terms. Power also can able to distinguish with the idea of influence, but not like power, control, but it may be a totalitarian, complete control, authority, prestige, rights. On the basis of that, the way how a person can able to understand the ideas of concept like power. So when I'm going to compare what is control, what is authority, what is influence, at the end, finally, I can able to say that what is the real meaning of the concept of power. So this will help student in political science to learn about the natures of power and all. For this purpose only, you have to learn about the implication of the power. So based on that, power is a kind of idea will come under the latent force. A force is completely manifested power. A force is completely on the basis of the manifestation of power. And when I'm going to see the authority, that is a institutionalized power, a way how the power need to be considered as a latent force. Here the force is nothing but the way how the manifestation of those power is going to happen. While going to manifest, you need to have an authority, and that authority need to have an institutionalized method in the name of power. A institutionalized mechanism to handle power will also come under the category. So in this way, the way how the concept of power is going to appear in different ways, in different places, in different occasion, in different time. So on the basis of the availability of the concept of power, I can able to come for the conclusion that there may be a formal organization or informal. There may be an organized or unorganized. So the possibilities are more, the way how the power is going to utilized. So the power as a concept is completely residing into the nature of the combination of numbers. It is the most important, the majority and minority. It is a combination of numbers in terms of majority and minority, and the way how the resources we are going to utilize, and how the way it is going to interconnected with the various social organizations which exist within a society. On the basis of that, we can able to consider that these are all the sources for source of power. So power in terms of number, how the way the majority versus minority, and how the way it is interconnected with the social organization, and what type of resources it is going to use and utilized. Based on that, you can able to look into the ideas of sources of power. So in this background, when I want to look into the concept of power, authority can be able to define by the way how the power is aligned with the principles of legitimacy. So authority and power we know very well. But what is legitimacy? A new term I am utilizing here. So when you are going to look into the idea of legitimacy, is a kind of arrangement within a society. So on the basis of that, the members of the society, the way how they are going to treat that arrangement as a beneficial to the society as well as individuals, on the basis of that willfully they are accepting. So here I want to consider a law, a simple way. When I am going to talk about a law inside a society, the law how it will recognize initially. The society is the one, the way how it is going to accept the norms and values inside the society. First, the society will accept norms and values. The societal accepted norms and values. Once society accepted, it will give those accepted values to the state, accepted customs to the state, accepted norms to the state. Then once society is accepting something, then that will be announced by state as a law through the parliamentary proceedings and all. So this is a necessary point. After accepting the society only, any law can be transformed into an area, or any norms can be transformed into the areas of laws and regulations and rules and all. And why the society is accepting those things? Because those kind of norms and values are going to give some kind of benefit to them, not only to the entire society but also individuals. On the basis of that, individual voluntarily giving their authority to the state to make rules regulation upon themselves, because they know very well the norms and values and practices they are practicing within a society only is going to be the rule. So there won't be any conflict between the norms practiced by the local people against the rules created by the government. So there will be always a complementary nature with each other, because the norms accepted by the society only later become the rules and regulation. This is the way the power is used, not against the people, Power will give some kind of legitimacy as an ideology. Combining legitimacy with power, automatically the person can able to utilize the concept of authority. So in this way, when I am going to look into the concept of power and authority, the way how the power and authority, power agent and power as a subject. Okay, and it is completely on the basis of the agent kind of thing, then automatically the command the society is going to take care of. Based on that, willfully they will accept the command. And while doing so, the state can able to use command, and the people also obediently, willfully obedient to those rules and regulations. Two-way power can be able to utilized. Being an agent, the command will be given. Being a subject, you can able to follow the obedience towards your state and all. If you are following the methods of command or obedience, there are some kind of things will come into force. In the nature of by force, coercion, or by fear, or by mutual consent, or mutual motivation. When it is come under the nature of the motivation and concern of the people, whether it may be a agent or subject, whether may accept the command or obedience, whatever term it may be, through the motivation and concern they tries to, then authority, benevolent authority will come into force here. But if the same time it is on the basis of the fear the authority is putting upon the people, it is on the basis of the force the authority is going to make upon the people, then that authority won't be a benevolent authority, it will be a tyranny, a dictatorial form of government, and all will come into exist. So this is the way only you can able to analyze the process of authority and power with the principles of legitimacy. So when I am going to look into this idea for the elaboration, power exercised through motivation plus obedience automatically rendered by the consent will be manifested in authority. And power exercised through by force and obedience rendered out of the fear will be manifested in terms of tyranny and dictatorship. So in this way, when I am going to look into the concept of power, Max Weber, he always popular into the category of three types of authority. One is the traditional authority. By tradition, father will be replaced by son, son will be replaced by grandson, a dynasty politics, and all will come under the hereditary, a traditional authority. Traditional means hereditary, a dynasty rules, the king and other various mud and all example. Traditionally, the people will be replaced. And the second important thing is that the charismatic authority. It is completely on the basis of the individuality of one person. The way how he is having a personality, a charming personality, some kind of extraordinary gift in order to attract people. The moment a person comes, there will be a large gathering of people also, and all. This is the kind of idea we can able to say that into the nature of charismatic. And charismatic will be there into the nature of the political and economic and legal and all kind of sphere. You can able to look into the matter of charismatic. But the most important thing is that once leader dies and traditional authority will replace their own people, legal authority will replace their people, charismatic figures and authority all will die along the charismatic leadership. There won't be any continuation in terms of charismatic. Like the way how Buddha and Gandhi and Jesus Christ, we can able to say as a religious charismatic, political charismatic sphere, after they die, then there is no follower and all. And there is another important thing, legal rational authority. On the basis of the sanctity, we are going to give on the basis of the legal and rational method. The way how the offices usually hold by people, through the proper methods or procedure, on the basis of that someone may be appointed as a district collector and all on the basis of his individual skills, not on the basis of the characteristics of the individuals, but the way how you are very much attacking and attached to the offices, on the basis of that only you can able to see the existence of legal rationality. So in legal rationality, the personal characters are not important. and the offices are attached to mainly on the basis of the way how individuals are gaining something through the procedure established by law in a legal manner, and person who cleared a UPSC or civil services will automatically become the civil servant. He is having an eligibility to hold those kind of offices. Only on this basis only he can, otherwise he can. Legal rationality is a kind of idea. Best example, Indian bureaucracy is a kind of example for legal rational authority. So in this way, when I'm going to look into the idea of the different methods and forms of powers, the first and foremost important thing is that political power, economic power, and social. So when I'm going to look into the political power, there will be a classification: formal political power and informal political power. And formal political powers means automatically the legislatures, the executive and judiciary, and any type of government organs will come under the nature of formalization of political power. And informal means the way how the political parties, pressure groups and voluntary groups, involuntary groups, public opinion, NGOs and other various movement people can able to create inside a society in order to influence the state and government will come under informal political power. And economic power is a kind of idea, the way how one is going to control on the basis of the way how someone is control the material things, the means of production, the mode of production, and the distribution and the wealth and all. On the basis of that economic power, I can able to see how the way the business magnates and tycoons of industry or the big landlords like jamindars and money lenders and all, these are all the best example. So the most important thing is that if you are the possessor of economic power in a democratical country, then automatically you can able to control politics in a direct and indirect manner. Either through the way you can directly participate in election, or you can able to fund people to participate political party. On the basis of that, the political parties will loyal to the person who is funding them. On the basis of that, if you are having money, control the media and media will talk on behalf of you, then you can able to create an image about yourself. And the third, the social perspective into the nature of ideological power. So it is a kind of idea way how we are going to insert among the people into the nature of the inculcation of the beliefs about the best practices a government is going to. So based on that ideological inculcation of methods, we are going to say that something is considered as a good government, good governance, and there is always a possibility the good governance can able to achieve the objective of the constitution. So in this manner, some kind of legitimization process upon the ruling classes will come into force. But here, ideological power, there will be always a kind of control upon people's choices of policies. So there is not, the ideological power is not talking about the complete legitimization. The control upon people's choice of policies will also come under the category of the ideological power. For example, when I'm going to look into the various ideas of civil societies, the family based, school, church and other primary groups and all, on the basis of that, every civil society organization is going to have some kind of value system. On the basis of that, you can able to elaborate the ideas. So here as a final part, when I'm going to compare power, and it is not necessary that by theoretical manner you have to mug up each and everything. There is always a possibility. In next class, in next demo, I will explain this idea that the comparative perspective of power. How the way I am going to compare the perspective of power, the core idea is that inside power, the classical perspective, elite perspective, gender perspective, group perspective. And in terms of classical perspective, the supporter are from the Marxian perspective. Elite theories are elite perspective, feminist theories are gender perspective, and pluralistic theories are group perspective. And Marxist theory always want to make discuss about power in terms of haves and have nots. And elite will go for the comparison of elite and masses. and gender will always go into the disturbances between men and women, and group perspective will go into the nature of several autonomous interest group. And the Marxist theory will talk about the division on the basis of ownership of private property, haves and have-nots. And in elite perspective, competence of the few only can able to control and form the nature. Not everyone is going to reach, only few can able to. And gender perspective will talk about the sex in terms of gender opposite biological differences, will make some indifferences among the society. And diversity of interest in terms of pluralistic theory, diversity of interest as a group perspective of division. And the role of power holders inside class perspective into the nature of the way how the exploitation is going to happen in Marxian perspective. And organizational leaders will control everything. And a gender perspective, women against male, again male against women, exploitation. And a group perspective, pluralistic theory, a collective bargaining based on mutual understanding. And the way how these theories are going to, class perspective want to bring changes, gender perspective will want to bring changes, based on that they want to bring equality. And elite theory who is at the topmost level, group perspective who is at the multiple diversible level, on the basis of that the interest group doesn't want any kind of change, and the elite group doesn't want any kind of change, only the class perspective and other people only will talk about this idea. So this is the most important thing. Based on that we can able to go for the concept like the way how the comparisons are going to happen into the nature of perspective of the change, and finally how the change will happen. When I'm going to look into this idea of change in class perspective, the social revolution alone can able to bring, social revolution alone can able to. But in terms of the area like elite perspective, they never want any kind of change, so no need of any instrumental change, and group also no need of any instrumental change. But in gender perspective they will say that the women perspective, the liberation movement of women right is a kind of idea. On the basis of that we can able to come for the conclusion. So this is the way only I will explain my concept regarding power in my classes in elaborate manner. Thank you all.